Friday Night Racing
on Off the Ball.
brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie.
Welcome along to Friday Night Racing on Off the Ball, brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie or follow the new Twitter account at HRI Racing, hashtag every racing moment. Today I am joined by Tom Bugsy Malone.
How are you, Johnny? You well?
Have you gotten over the seismic election results of last night?
Well, I'm still processing it. I'm just looking at lots of good animal content on social media to try and distract me from what's going on next door.
I would love to be a 19-year-old jockey who probably could care about this less than many things. A jockey by the name of Darragh. Darragh, you're in Cheltenham, but what's your take on the election? Have you been following it?
God.
Have you been following it deeply? The result of Brexit and so, or the result of the election and Boris Johnson getting elected?
No, well, I've been keeping an eye on it, all right, but I haven't really been thinking about it that much or anything like that. But I have been keeping a close eye on it, all right.
Tom, he lives in very interesting times. To cut this political debate short.
Very much so. Yeah. I don't know. But as you said, a lot of people would like to be Darragh O'Keeffe right now, though.
Darragh O'Keeffe won the Emerging Talent Award at the HRI Awards the other night, in which he beat Joey Sheridan. He beat Peter Flood, Joey Sheridan, and Andrew Slattery. I didn't realise this though, Darragh. I was actually having a chat with Andrew's dad outside, and your family has actually had a key role in the development of Andrew Slattery.
Yeah, Andrew, he started pony racing, and they were looking for a pony and that to come. So me and Dad used to always keep a few flappers for pony races or flappers for ourselves. So Andrew, then I got to know him, and they bought a pony off us called Here Comes the Pain, and he got him going, and then I had a very good pony that I used to be riding the whole time, and Andrew got riding her, and he had plenty of winners on her, and I'm sure he learned loads off it. But no, me and Andrew go back a good bit, and we're great friends in that.
Yeah, I think Here Comes the Pain actually turned out to be well named. Was that the case when he rode Here Comes the Pain for the first time?
Yeah, he rode him the first time, and he was an older pony, and he'd loads done, so he'd kind of go around the tracks himself, you know. But then he kind of that was when he just kind of first started, and then I was kind of got a bit heavier for my own pony, and he started riding her, and he had plenty of winners on her.
Tom, what can you say about this man, 2019?
It's been absolutely incredible. I mean, Darragh, you're keeping yourself plenty busy as well. I mean, only one person has taken more rides than you this season, and you're second in the Jockeys Championship. It must feel pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, to be honest. And I'm riding for loads of different trainers, and I have a great agent in Carrie Cribbin who books my rides and that. And obviously I only work in Enders full time, you know, so I don't go anywhere else. And you know, I'm getting plenty of outside rides and things. So you know, it's unbelievable, and it's something that I never think that would happen, you know. You're from
a pony racing background yourself. I mean, it's just the most incredible nursery of talent in the weigh room, isn't it? I mean, flat and jumps.
Yeah, it is. I suppose you learn, you know, pace, and you know, how to ride, and you're in a small little tight field, and you know, you're going around there, so you have to fight your own corner, and there's plenty of good lads like Jack Kennedy and all them lads were doing it when I was doing it, and Andrew now and Joey Sheridan and Shane Cross and all them lads, you know, they were all doing it when I was at it as well. And you know, it's just a great grounding for any young jockey.
Yeah, I was talking to Dermot Weld about this, at the end of the season. He just said the amount of young riders coming through, even in his place at the moment, he's got Ben Cowan, Andrew Slattery and Ushi Noor all in there, and obviously a couple of them come from the pony racing scene. It's just
I don't know. It must be just a brilliant introduction. You learn how to race ride, you learn how to lose, you learn how to win, and you learn, I suppose, the dangers of it as well, Darragh.
Yeah, I know, obviously, you have to learn how to race ride and that, and it's not easy to do that without doing pony racing. You know, there's only so much of learning that you can do it at home. So to get the chance to actually do the pony racing and that, and it is unbelievable. And you get to meet great people there, and you know, people that has helped you, and you'd make good friends with it as well. You know.
How did the relationship with Enda Bulger come about? Enda has 3 runners today in the cross-country race at Cheltenham: Yanmart, Josie's Order and Blue Templar, and I presume were you not injured, you'd be happy to ride one of them. But Enda has... Your relationship with Enda, and by extension your relationship with JP McManus, must be a dream come true, really.
Yeah, like it's unbelievable. They've got me going, and like in fairness, Enda, he taught me loads, and like I kind of rode in the flat for a bit, but I was just never naturally light enough. I was kind of in between the weights, and it was only half an hour down the road from me at home, so I knew that like you go into some yards and you don't get the chance, to be schooling that much. Whereas when you go to Enda's, like the minute you go in the yard there, you're schooling every day. You're jumping mixture of jumps, and like when you're doing something wrong, he'll tell you. So that's what I wanted to learn, and you couldn't go to a better man.
Just on that, actually, I was talking to Eddie O'Leary during the week. He was really extolling the cross-country race and the cross-country circuit. But in terms of Enda's schooling at the yard, does he school like sort of conventional hurdlers, conventional chasers over different obstacles to kind of keep them sweet, or is that just the cross-country horses?
No, he do it like with every horse. Like what I find about Enda's is no matter what horse they are, like whether they're a young horse or they're the likes of Josie's Orders, a Yanmart or Blue Templar, like they'll do something new or different kind of every day. Like they're not going around the gallop every day. They could be go around the road, they could go to the forestry, they could go, they could do anything, and they could do hill work, or so like and he'd school them whatever, he could jump anything with them, and like he's a variety of jumps down there, mixture from Punchestown, Cheltenham, and he's a lovely course there, and it's a lovely place as well.
That's fascinating for me, right? So people will look into, they'll see a horse race and they'll see Willie Mullins is training the favourite, and he'll probably win, but you get a horse fit, but Willie Mullins would not train like this. Henry de Bromhead would train quite differently in terms of the loose school and indoor arena. Willie Mullins, I remember Patrick asking him what's the success, and he said routine. And what Enda is obviously doing is you couldn't call it routine because it's anything but routine, and the horses seem to love it. Yeah,
I suppose a horse like Yanmart is a classic example of a horse that would thrive in that environment. It's completely different. A lot of horses and yards, Darragh, that's just got to be totally different from what goes on. Like, I don't know, you see in flat yards in particular, like they go out one gallop, they're out in the they go out in the walker every day. Then they do a little bit of work. Obviously, it scales up and down as regards the level of exertion they'll have, and then they go back in and maybe a bit of time in the field. But this is real.
And when he's underneath them, Darragh, you must almost feel day to day, geez, he's enjoying that. He's actually liking that more than what he did yesterday. He's a pep in his step today, so you'll probably get to know the horses as well.
Yeah, for the horses that will be going cross country racing, like they come and like they just love it. They love the routine, because like they could work one day and then they relax, like they could go jumping, or they could go roll work, or go to the woods or anything like that, and they go out in the field. And like what I find with the horses, they always seem to be happy. You never see a horse there that's not enjoying it really. They all seem to love their work, and they love going out in the mornings, because it's like the jockeys as well, that like even for myself going in there, like when you go in there, you don't know what you're going to do today. That's what I like about it. You're not going to do the same thing every day, so it's a challenge as well. So it's great.
You all need a bit of variety.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the kind of criticism of sort of big yards that become a little bit like, factories, 200 or 300 horses all just going out in a line, doing the same thing. They get caught in a bit of a routine. They can get caught in a bit of a rush as well, can't they, Darragh? Yeah,
well, to be honest, I am like that's what I like about Enda's anyway. Like there's only he takes around 35 horses, so there's a nice routine. You just don't know what you're going to do when you go into work. No matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, or whatever, you just don't know what's going to happen. Like you could go to the gallops, as I said, or you could go to the forestry, or you could just do loads of things. You could be schooling, and it's just a great place to work.
It does sound like that, doesn't it?
It does. I know. I was going to ask him about, obviously, the boss means something different to Enda Bulger. The boss means Bruce Springsteen to Enda Bulger, one of his biggest fans. Good mates, apparently, when I'm sure, like, Enda would get tickets to all these gigs in Ireland and all that. But what's the boss like to you, the actual boss, Enda Bulger?
Oh, look, he's a great, he's brilliant. Like he's got me going, and he's done everything for me. Like he's great, and like if he's a mentor as well. He's like when I'm riding at any meeting or whatever horse I'm riding, the next day like he'll tell me, oh, this, if you could have did this, or if he didn't do it, you were right. And if you rode him differently or something like that, he'd tell you if he'd something to tell you, he'd do it. So like even when I first started there, every ride you'd have, in the background, it's just like Enda was watching it to make sure you were doing things right. So he's great like that, and he'd always kind of be looking out for you to see where he can improve your ride, and if he thought you'd improve in any way, no matter if it's going around the yard or doing something else, he'd always try to help you like that.
He's obviously decent as well, because you've taken so many rides, so he's obviously happy enough for you to take rides elsewhere too.
Yeah, like, and he allows me to go racing, and like as I said, I'm there full time, and if I needed to go somewhere else, or no matter what time I want to go, he'll ask, and you just tell him, and that's it. There's nothing, he won't delay, so it's great, and he's never stopped me from riding for anyone else or anything like that, and I just love working there. It's great.
Can we get the photo back of him there, just with the award the other night, lads? We have another photo to show as well, but this one, where did you get that tie?
Oh, I approve of that tie. Don't listen to him, Darragh.
Don't listen. Tom Malone is from the Channel 4 presenter school, Jon Snow. Where'd you get it there, Darragh? I'm sure, and when did you discard it?
I got it. I have it with a while. I got it a few months back in Barry's Menswear in Mallow. So, no, that's where I got it.
Barry's nothing wrong with Barry's Menswear in Mallow, but my issue is with his choice of tie and his sartorial prowess.
For viewers on the radio, it is a sort of pink floral affair with a few blue and white.
Yeah, he needs to work on the knot as well. But we've another photo. It's been a year of achievements and accolades for you, because we had the Emerging Talent Award. We also had this, right? So this was featured in Sports Files, Photos of the Year. An unbelievable snap of you coming off Kildare at the Fairyhouse Wind Festival. Now, this is not really a photo that Darragh would necessarily want to see, but I'm sure you have seen it, Darragh. And what I love about photos of horses and jockeys at a fence is the parallels of the angles. So, for example, the angle of Darragh's tie there relative to the horse himself, and the angle of the horse underneath. You're basically, everything's in symmetry. Although it probably didn't feel like symmetry at the time. You were holding on for dear life.
Yeah, so like I suppose with anything, you kind of want to go with them, So it was just unfortunate the way it worked out, but thankfully we were both okay, and so we lived to fight another day. You're
injured at the moment, Darragh. What's your prognosis and return time?
Yeah, I hope to see Mr. Kenny back in Blanchardstown on Tuesday, so hopefully I have a cast on at the minute, but I'm hoping to get that off Tuesday, and all being well, we might be back for the Turles meeting next Saturday week today, so that's what we're aiming for anyway.
Still has a cast on, but it's okay to be back at work in a week. They're just different, aren't they? Jockey's just different breed.
19, it heals quicker as well, Darragh.
Yeah, well, hopefully, anyway, that's what I'm hoping for at the minute, anyway.
I tell you one thing, your dad was very proud of you the other night.
Yeah, look, I suppose everyone, like, there's a lot of people, I suppose, like, a lot of friends and that, like, it's like they are the great people that could follow me, like, no matter where I'm going there. Even like if I 3 rides and none of them even were placed, they'd say well done. They have a great people say support me from when I was playing J and that, and there's a lot of friends and family. They get a great kick out of me winning and that. So they were all very proud. So it was a great night. I
bumped into him and Andy Slattery's dad of the same name, and the conversation got so serious they both went for a second cigarette, and that is a sign that they were getting proper deep. And do you know what was great, Darragh? They weren't, my son is better than yours, my son is great. They were actually talking about the other son, and listen, they have a long way to go, and kind of, I get the sense he's keeping you grounded. Yeah, so definitely, like, there's like, you have to in this game, because you don't know what's around the corner, so you just have to prepare for it, and, they were great, and as I said, like, loads of people support me, no matter where I am or what I'm doing, from when I was playing J or that, they'd all still follow me for riding horses, so, it was great, and they're all very happy the other night anyway. Hurling or football is your main passion? I used to love playing both, to be honest with you. I used to really get a great kick out of it, and it was great to keep fit and that. And obviously, then when I started working in Enda's full time, I didn't have full commitment, so I kind of really stopped playing them. But I used to love playing both. It was great to go down and meet the lads and have a puck around or a kick around. It was great, and I just really enjoyed that as well. Yeah,
Bulger will be on to you now for the hurling for Cancer next year, then.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to do it this year as well, but I got a fall the day before, so I was a bit sore, so I didn't bother. But hopefully we'll be okay to do it next year.
Where would you put yourself? You're picking the team now. Where are you going to put yourself?
I'd probably sneak in somewhere corner forward there or something.
Everyone says that.
Well, he's not going to be centre. He's not going to be centre midfield. In fairness, midfielder with the.
He could be more like when the O'Connors
or wing forward or something.
Nippy and kind of get away from your marker type job.
Yeah, that's what you'll be hoping it is. I wouldn't think I'd have the height for centre forward or midfield, so I think I'd have to go on the wing or out the corner.
Speaking of getting away from your marker, we'd go crack the other night there at the Wards when the lady going around the table, she kept coming back and asking Jim Bulger if he wanted his wine topped up.
Right.
Yeah, but she just couldn't get the hint.
Okay, the pioneer pin didn't give it away.
No, but Jim did it. Jim had it in great grace, and Jim had a good line. Now you didn't come through the yard, but as everyone went up to the table, he came through my yard. He came through my yard. He came through my yard. Oh, I ate no right. But he did have the good grace start today. In fairness to him, they all had the good sense to leave as well.
Yeah.
One of the greats for Irish racing. Come here, before you go, so the 3 horse today, Yamworth, Josie's Orders and Blue Templar, what's the expectation, do you think, from the horse's mouth?
Well, I suppose like Yanworth is the classiest horse. Like he was good the last time Punchestown, and Punchestown will be more, there's a lot more banks in that there than Cheltenham, to be more hedges and that, but I suppose he's a lot of ways. If he can do that, I think he'll take all the beating. And Josie's Orders, he was suffered from a colic, so he might need to run. And like Blue Templar, he's a nice way. I'd say he could have an each way chance. But I think Yanworth, if everything goes his way, I think he'll be bang there.
Thanks a million for that. We just got to congratulate you again to be joint second in the table with no less than Davy Russell. I'm sure he was something of an icon for you growing up as well. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. Davy and Paul Town, and it's great to be.
3 Cork lads top of the table there.
Yeah, 3 of us are from Cork, so it's great, and keeping the county going some ways anyway. But it's great. As I said, it's a dream come true, and look, hopefully we can just get back now from the injury, and hopefully we can stay kicking on.
Enjoy Cheltenham, and hopefully we'll see you soon back at the racetrack.
Cheers. Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
Good luck, Darragh.
Good measured performance from the young man.
He's top class, isn't he? Like he only had his first winner in July 2018. 15 winners last year, and he's had 46 already this year. Only Sean Flanagan's had more rides as well. I mean, that's just the thing. To keep that busy when you're still a claimer and get that volume of rides, unbelievable.
Is there any concern, Bugsy, that he's in danger of burnout to some extent at that age? 330, his claim is obviously rapidly on the way out. And
when you have that many rides, he shouldn't be concerned about claims. You know what I mean? We're probably really at this stage looking for the next kind of young talent to really burst through the weigh room, and he's probably it. And obviously, it's kind of amazing that we kind of forget how young Jack Kennedy still is, but I mean, this kid's absolutely unbelievable. Even just the sheer volume of winners he's had. 46 winners in his second season. It's incredible.
It's more winners than you've had.
It's a lot more winners than I've had.
How many rides have you had? 2? 1? Just one?
Just the one.
Just the one?
Just the one.
When you were soon tailed off the back of the field and the horse had a chance in the
Never in
charity race.
contention. Never in contention.
Tom is actually still looking to redeem his reputation.
We'll have to go again. We'll have to go again. It didn't work out.
He wants not to be disgraced the second time, but to be fair, at least you were there. It's easy to hurl from the ditch and say, oh, this or that, but at least you went through it and went through the disgrace of that performance.
Yeah. No, it was it's still look. It's the thing about it was for me was just to actually be at the Punchestown Festival, like get a leg up in the parade ring there, and be part of that experience. Obviously, like,
it must be amazing.
It's a brilliant feeling.
So Friday night racing is brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland, and just to mention, we will have some tips, because this weekend in Ireland Fairyhouse Stage is a competitive 7-race card. That is tomorrow and Saturday. On Sunday, Navan hosts an absolute cracker of a card, including the Grade 2 Navan Novice Hurdle. Have you looked at the bumper, the list of horses who won this race on Sunday?
Yeah,
it's absolutely off the
It's
charts.
absolutely brilliant. You'd imagine Pencil Full of Lead might be favourite for it. Obviously, Gordon Elliott's horse, he won the bumper at Down Royal last time out, has since changed hands. But Jamie Codd will take the ride there. Interested, Patrick Mullins will ride Duke Cup for Ted Walsh. Obviously, brilliant last time out. Tread, who was second in the maiden hurdle to Front View last time after winning at the back end of last year for Joseph, is in there as well.
Let's talk about the main race though. And like, what would your favourite Andy Dufresne pun be were he to win on Sunday in the
I know
12 o'clock? It's an early start at Navan.
Take it
easy on Saturday night.
They moved the chases from Fairyhouse, because Fairyhouse now a 6-race card. They had to move the chases. The ground's too soft there, so they divide the handicap hurdle. Andy Dufresne is where the 6-shooter could capture him, but no. Andy Dufresne wins, doesn't he?
Oh, I see. What you've done is you've tied in another rival in the race to the... Yeah. It's good to have a name like this because people will... anyone listening to the radio on Sunday, Andy Dufresne won the first Nav, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. So it makes you think racing. But he does actually look really, really good. I wasn't convinced how good he'd be.
You weren't the only one. He went off at nearly even money in Navan the first day.
Yeah, I thought the Down Royal bumper wasn't necessarily great, but I loved his performance in Navan.
Yeah, when he just kind of took control of the race, didn't he? He made pretty much every yard, and then he picked it up far out. And you look down the line, you'd think 2.5 miles is his minimum. Where he kind of ends up after this, you'd think he could be in line perhaps to look at that the Grade 1 at Naas after Christmas if he comes out of this okay.
Yeah.
That's 2 mile 5, won by the likes of Battle Over Doyen.
2-4.
So yeah, a stiff 2-4 as well. Similar track to Navan, obviously. So you think he could possibly come into contention for that. Envoy Allen's been talked about for that as well. I would imagine Envoy Allen runs at Christmas.
Try to keep them apart.
Yeah, you would think so. But look, Andy Dufresne's another exciting novice for Gordon Elliott, who obviously has Envoy Allen. Unfortunately, Malone rode out for the season. Abacadabra is a really exciting sort as well. Looks more of a 2-mile type. He has a brilliant crop of horses, does Gordon Elliott.
The bumper has only been won by Don Cossack, Death Duty, Sam Crow and Envoy Allen, all trained by Gordon in the last...
Yeah, and he's got Pencil Full of Lead, who was well talked about before his Down Royal run as well.
He was in good form the other night, Gordon. Himself, Eddie O'Leary and Willie Mullins kind of arrived at the bar at the same time one time.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it was. But like they certainly still get on, or at least at the very least they kind of they chat away, and it was good crack, and it was a great night out. But you are surrounded by greatness, but they're all humble and very, very nonplussed about their success.
Yeah, absolutely. And the notion that Jigginstown are just going to wind down anytime soon is not happening as well. I think they've won 4 or 5 of the last 6 bumpers around Ireland or something like that. Some really expensive purchases still to come out onto the track. The wind down will be very, very, very gradual. And obviously they're not as visible on the track, Eddie and Michael, as they have been in the past, but I mean the horses are still there and they're still winning plenty of races.
What'll take longer, Brexit from the initial vote happening compared to Michael O'Leary's exit from racing?
Oh my goodness, it's 5 to 6 pick him, isn't it?
I think it'll be Brexit. It'll take longer. There is good action at Cheltenham's international meeting, which we obviously mentioned, the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. Tomorrow afternoon, tote customers can ring in the new year at Punchdown at the Tote Sponsor Day on December 31st. See the tote.com website for more details. What do you like at Cheltenham?
Well, just a note on Riders of the Storm, because he was...
Does it always make you want to listen to the Doors when...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it doesn't, there's something wrong with you.
An entire Doors album because I couldn't get that song out of my head because of and so on and so forth. But he doesn't run. He
actually doesn't run, but he was... When the next time he does run, don't worry, because he was favourite. Like, he's 4-1 favourite, but he was taken out in error. So someone at the office of Nigel Twiston-Davies is going to get a bit of a slap on the wrist there, because he's registered as out with an infection, but actually it was just an administrative error, and it was supposed to be another horse as non-runner, and Riders and Storms are not going to run the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup.
But it brings it down to a 15-runner handicap.
Nightmare. I was just thinking about this. So some bookmakers will go extra places. If you're given the choice, would you go standard each way terms, quarter the odds, or take the extra place in the 50 odds?
Yeah. There is a study done on this. I'm not sure it applies to every race the same, but I think you're better a 5-4, but I'm not certain of this. But I'd go 5-4 just because I can't be dealing with this if he finishes 4th.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, my selection is Benatar, who was 3rd in the RSA back in 2018. This only is actually his 5th run since. Gary Moore's always liked this horse a lot. Yeah. I always liked him. He's a really. I always thought he might have been better right-handed, but then he had that really good run the RSA in 2018. I always
liked him. You sound like Aidan O'Brien here now.
Yeah, we always liked him.
Yeah.
We always liked him. I know Benatar's always been classy, and 3rd in RSA. He's double-figure price, so I think he could run. Look, a lot of these are these kind of decent second, third season chasers who looked kind of promising, and maybe 1 or 2 of them are on the wane. But
what about the Robin? I mean, Willie wouldn't. I don't know if he's ever even won this race. He wouldn't have runners in it.
No,
anyway.
he wouldn't have many runners in it.
Very rarely have runners. In a race that Paul Nichols dominated in. Sending over Robin DeFore for a seasonal return, first run since second to Borough Saint, who's a very good horse.
Yeah.
When he was only a 92 shot. Travelled really well up to the last. And I do quite like the angle of this horse dropping back in trip because he travelled, I know he stays, but he travelled well
but
that
they
day.
travel strongly, and there's so many Willies
11 stone 5, but we could be getting a price here, Bugsy.
Could be getting a bit of a price on him. Would you concern you the way Cabaret Queen was so poor in the Ladbrokes Trophy a couple of weeks ago?
She got the job done at Limerick. Do you like anything else over the weekend?
Well, the novice chase is absolutely brilliant. Champagne Platinum and Good Boy Bobby at 12:45, also at Cheltenham. The opening race at Navan's a cracker. Black Bow and Size and Potsy go head-to-head in the maiden hurdle. Red Jack could be interesting in 2:35 at Navan. He's off a mark of 120. It was an absolutely brilliant bumper horse. I was 3rd in a Royal Bond a few years ago. Off 120 for Jake McManus and Noel Meade in the 2:35 at Navan. That handicap chase could be of interest over 3 miles on soft ground. But look, I'll be with Pencilful Lead as my sort of nap of the weekend in the Navan bumper. Have to wait till the very end for my nap of the weekend, but it'll be Pencilful Lead.
Assurance is my bet. It's probably not going to be a huge price, 5:45 at Dundalk this evening. But I should give one more Jim Bulger story.
I love a Jim Bulger story.
So I was getting ready for bed on, what night was this? The night after the awards. So that would be Wednesday night. And a text came through. I think it was like 10 to 11 on the WhatsApp. A WhatsApp message from Jim Bulger. And it was an article from The Guardian just saying that Boris Johnson is basically spouting a load of lies and can't go through with any of the stuff he's saying. And Jim has turned 78 on Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, yeah.
Still as hungry as ever. And at 10 to 11, trainers usually in bed at that time, sending on messages about Boris Johnson.
What was his take on it? Was he just pointing it out to you? Or I love the thought of Jim Bulger sitting there reading Guardian articles at home and firing them around the place.
Yeah, we certainly spoke about the election and Boris at the table. I mean, if you're at a table for 4 hours and you're sitting beside someone, you get through a lot.
Yeah.
But I think he has similar misgivings to the way British politics is going.
Oh, there you go. There's your writings on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's a non-runner. Wait. I can't believe you listened to the whole Doors album just.
I did.
Yeah.
It was at once uplifting and quite depressing.
Oh my goodness! Did you?
Riders on the storm.
That's beautiful.
That is so. Again, thanks to JP for playing that. It's not going to be out of my head. But I tell you whose head it won't be out of. Nigel Twiston Davies. The bloody horse doesn't
forever. Exactly. Yeah. That horse just can't catch a break. Poor old Riders on the Storm.
Great tune.
Yeah, it's quality.
He went too early.
Yes. He was in the 27 club?
27 club, he was. We've survived that, Tom.
Yeah, we have, and some, Johnny.
Nap of the weekend. Bugsy gets the call this weekend because our search for a winner was ended last weekend because I didn't give the tip.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll wait.
Madden.
We'll go with Pencil Full of Lead in the bumper for
Pencil
Gordon.
Full of Lead in the nightcap.
In the nightcap, yeah, the end of the weekend.
When it'll be getting desperately cold at Navan.
As opposed to those roasting days at Navan.
And if you are in Navan, you can repair to O'Connell's pub, which features on that famous Guinness ad, otherwise known as Mrs. O's, which Bugsy has become a patron of late, arguably the best pub in Ireland.
It's definitely up. It's up there.
No TV.
No
you
TV.
Go to the toilet outside.
Terrible phone coverage.
Yeah.
Our lads from the Ward Union telling
madness.
war stories of the highest order. I would recommend.
If you're accusing me of...
And by the way,
best Guinness.
Brilliant Guinness.
If you're accusing us of blatant promotion of Mrs. O's, you'd be right.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Friday Night Racing Off the Ball is brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment, be it in Mrs. O's or not. Visit hri.ie.
Friday Night Racing
on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit hri.ie.